Hey everyone, what is up? This is the Jock and Rose here. Well, shit. It's been 2 months. That is not good. Obviously, to me, that is very terrible. And if you guys can hear my computer in the background, I apologize. That is going to be fixed soon. So, yeah. You won't be hearing that much humming for, a while. Anyways, I apologize dearly for taking so long just to get this narration up. By the way, if you guys want to skip pretty much my discussion about some things, there's going to be a timestamp on screen right about now, and you can just move the cursor and just move the cursor on the video player and just move it to that time. Anyways, to those that are willing to listen, thank you. Anyways, it has been a while. I mean, I could have had an excuse for possibly the first 3 weeks of not uploading, but it took way longer than I thought. Mostly it's just because I wanted to wait to get a CPU cooler just so that I can not have this stupid humming in the background. Anyways, to start out, I actually did have to preoccupy myself in something else because my AV production class, we were doing a project that was going to take more than a week. And I did have to record some footage at home and everything, so pretty much I was occupied with that. And then I had to write Red Snowflakes along with that, which is a fanfic of mine. So yeah, I was kind of busy. On the third week, well, let's say I actually got to a parent-teacher conference and ended up kicking my own self out of AP World History. I am done with it. So there's going to not be that much work for me anymore, so I can have more time with narrating. I've been kind of putting it aside, and I feel bad for it. But I'm not dead, as some would think. I'm back, and I'm here to stay. Anyways, I'm hoping that soon enough I'll get my CPU cooler. I ordered it just on Sunday, I believe. So it's not going to take that long. I think it'll take until Monday of next week. And, oh, speaking of Sunday, which was November the 29th as I'm recording this, that was my birthday. I'm now officially 16 years old, a year below being legally old enough to buy a rated mature game. So yeah, that happened also. And, a few weeks before my birthday, actually, a writer that I pretty much not idolize, but they're one of my top 10 favorites. Noble Maida, the author that created Life of a White Rose and Grand Theft RWBY. He actually messaged me along with a couple of other authors that I, in my honest opinion, did not know of until now. I mean, I did heard of their fanfics, but I didn't really read their works up until now. They are very good, by the way. Man. So he messaged me along with those authors to help out with this idea of his that had to do with a college university AU. So it's mostly a university AU. I don't know why I put college in there, but anyways. Holy shit, it is actually an amazing idea. We actually put up the fanfic. It's called Room 205. And we put it on Noble Maida's account because it was his idea after all. We're just working with him on it. So, yeah. Make sure when I'm going to put the link down in the description for the fanfic. And if you guys follow and favorite it, make sure that you read the other authors' works. Because, I mean, they do have some very amazing stories on their end, and I definitely recommend reading them. And make sure that if you like them, that you follow and favorite them. Don't tell them though that I sent you though. I'd rather be a little bit anonymous with this. So anyways, that happened, and well, I'm so excited. It's gonna be my first experience ever writing like comedic and funny stuff. Something that I never thought I would associate myself with in the fanfiction community. So yeah. Noble Maida also put up a update to his stories and I realized that it was actually very awesome. Pretty much, it was him talking about like writers that have come and gone, and some that have stuck in around for a very long time, like me. I was actually mentioning there along with the authors that I'm working with on the collab. So, yeah, I am pretty much one of the oldest members of the RWBY fanfiction community because I've been started out since 2013 and I'm still here. I'm glad to still be here because I like everyone here and I'd rather not leave. Once again, I apologize for taking a long time to narrate. It's been a while and I'm glad I'm doing it again. Anyways, I think that's enough of me dawdling and everything. Dwelling. I don't know. Dallying. Yeah, there you go. I don't know. Dilly-dallying, I guess. That's enough of me doing that. I'm going to leave you guys the narration. This narration was actually made 2 to 3 days after the last one, and I could have time to actually I did not have time to edit it for those few weeks. But yeah. I'm not dead like some people would think right now. I'm back and I'm here to stay. And I apologize to George in advance too for taking a while. I'm going to try to finish up the story before the end of the year because for one, I want to start with a new story next year and well, yeah. Anyways, let's get it started now. Hey guys, how's it going? This is the Dark and Rose here, and man, has it been a while. Alright, so here we go. Chapter 46, Weiss and Crow's Quality Meeting. This is in Weiss's POV, in case you're wondering. I'm gonna actually take a sip of cola. That's pretty good. Alright. I wake up early in the morning. Out of habit, I've always woken up at about 6 a.m. and I go under the assumption that it is no different today. I'm usually the second person awake, Yang being the first. I look to my right at Ruby's bed. I can't see her from this angle, but I'm more than certain she is awake. To my left, I can see her room door completely shut. But there is a dim light underneath the doorway, pretty far down the hall. Awake as usual, Yang? Wouldn't be surprised. I place my palms on my sides, carefully pushing myself up from the unzipped sleeping bag before a sharp pain shoots up my back, along with several sharp cracks. I close my eyes tight, fighting to get myself into a complete upright sitting position. And Ruby actually volunteered to sleep in this thing? My god, she's a trooper. I clench my teeth as I turn around to replant my hands on the floor and climb to my feet. The agonizing pain in my back not giving in even when I make it completely upright. Each step I take sends a brief pain along my lower back. I begin walking towards the door, looking over my shoulder to see Ruby still fast asleep with her lips parted and making slightly audible breaths. Her hair is slightly messy, possibly from tossing and turning during the night, but her bedhead is sort of cute in a way. I guess when you treasure someone enough, you end up finding a positive thing in anything and everything about them. Sleep tight, Ruby. I'm going to try to get the kinks out of my back. I let out a mild sigh, opening her room door and carefully closing it, holding the knob turned to avoid the clicking sound the door would make. Otherwise, well, it is being closed. Oh my god, I actually do that during the night. I'm like, close it slowly and have the knob turned so it doesn't click. Well, the door next to my computer, which is the laundry room, that actually kind of does a creaking sound, which sucks. It isn't that bad though. Anyways, sorry for getting off track. The light I saw from underneath the doorway earlier was indeed coming from one of the bedrooms, but surprisingly it was not Yang's and instead was the other bedroom that Mr. Crow was most likely staying in. I walk up to the door and peek inside, my eyes widening in surprise to the spectacle. Yang was inside doing push-ups, wearing her usual sports bra and tight gym shorts. But what surprises me is the fact that she is doing push-ups in sync with Mr. Crow. What the fuck? Now that may not sound too impressive, but it becomes extremely impressive when she is balanced with her toes on Crow's calves and her hands on his shoulder blades. But she was doing push-ups on top of him while he was doing push-ups with the added weight of Yang, along with the added force of her pushing down on his back to do her own push-ups. Mr. Crow was in a leather jacket that covered his entire physique, yesterday. But right now he is in a black muscle shirt and basketball shorts, matching the black and gold colors of what Yang wears. His arms and legs are both slender, yet every inch of his limbs are anything but straight. There's a curve along every part of them, whether they be concave or convex. He is 10 times fitter than Yang, perhaps even 20. I stand quietly in the doorway, watching each of his push-ups with Yang beginning to slow down. I have no idea how long they have been at it, but soon enough, Yang's body is shaking. She collapses onto him, and he continues without a delay in his rhythm. For the first time ever, I see Yang being completely outdone in both muscle and endurance. Mr. Crow continues his push-ups for well over 5 minutes until it appears he grows bored and moves to a knee with Yang still draped over his back. He carefully reaches behind him to grab the back of Yang's thighs, and in a graceful motion he shifts to a complete upright position, his grip on Yang's thighs allowing him to piggyback his knees while she places her spaghetti weight arms on his shoulders. His back is still towards me, but I get a slight start when I hear him speak with a cheerfulness in his voice that is very similar to Yang. I'm the one that trained Yang, you know. At least when it came to muscle and endurance training. He turns around and for the first time recognizes a small bracelet on his right wrist, and an identical one on Yang's. On Yang's, I can make out a percentage on hers. It reads 50%, and Mr. Crow's, it reads only 5%. Yang is on his back, completely exhausted, and eventually she begins to snore. I am amazed for a second time. Yang Xiaolong has just been through a workout that left her sleeping. My jaw drops at the sight, and he only laughs at my amazed expression. What is that thing on your wrist? I saw it on Yang's too, I ask in curiosity. Oh, these? He raises his wrist to me to show off the device. It is meant to restrict the amount of aura one can access out of themselves. It acts like a dam, allowing only the amount that passes over the top to go through. So once you reach the amount of aura numbered on this, then, well, it's like you don't have any left. Wait, so are you telling me that he outdid Yang without even wasting 5% of his aura? That's terrifying. So, how's Yang? Did you leave the bracelet on her? Nope. She'll be awake in an hour. She's one hell of a trooper. She's a thrill seeker. Just like my sister, her mother. Mr. Crow begins walking by me, over to Yang's room, and comes out shortly later while rotating his arms, most likely to relieve the tension from his workout. I hear my other niece, Ruby, is pretty protective of you. Damn it, Yang. I suppose for lack of better words, she is. It worries me that she does not believe in my own ability. I sigh, remembering the several times Ruby has gone above and beyond to protect me. It was protection in its own right, but at the same time, it always found a way to make me feel inferior. Like I will never be able to match her level of skill and compassion, and will be a burden in the future. My depressing thoughts are interrupted by a healthy laugh from Mr. Crow, who shakes his head and holds his hand up in a rather dismissive manner. His laughing makes his eyes squint and shows the very minor signs of crow's feet. Or rather, crow's feet. Damn it, Yang. Along the outer parts of his eyes, displaying his age, despite the rest of his youthful appearance. Mr. Crow is the most physically fit person that I have ever seen, and to think he is only a former hunter and current schoolteacher at a weapons specializing school is far beyond my thoughts as to how he is able to stay like this. Sorry for laughing, he says while still chuckling and shaking his head. He places his hands on his hips and looks down towards the floor a moment before looking back up at me with the same warm smile he displayed last night. Believe me, she's not doing it on purpose. She used to act like that with me. Tai, and even Yang once she was able to get her hands on the completed crescent rose. It's part of her personality, really. She wants to protect everyone she holds dear. She told herself that she wouldn't dwell on the past, and will instead make sure her future with the people she cares for is set in stone. I listen intently, watching as Mr. Crow tilts his... Sorry about that, that was my pop filter. Because it was kind of positioned awkwardly. There we go. Watching as Mr. Crow tilts his head and points behind me towards Ruby's door. I look over my shoulder, expecting there to be something else, but in fact he is pointing to her door and begins to explain something I never knew. "Summer's little rose," he begins, his enthusiasm wavering for a split second, yet he still has an incomparable optimism in his voice. "That's the one sign that proves she still dwells on the past. When I see her take that down, I will know she is ready to face the world and all the difficulties it brings." I turn my head to look back at Mr. Crow, confusion written in my body language as well as on my face. Yet it seems to only make him laugh again. "I'm sorry, I digress. You see, Summer is actually the name of Ruby's mother." The smile on his face disappeared and the more serious look takes its place, with a very slight display of sorrow in his eyes. "Ruby lost her mother while Summer was on her last mission. Ruby blames herself for some reason. She was very young at the time, but well, kids are kids, I suppose. Something as drastic as that and they don't know what to think. Ruby was never one to blame the world or think the world to hate her. Summer raised her far better than that. My niece couldn't hate anything except the things or people that hurt those she cares for. The only thing my niece hates are the creatures of Grimm. She won't hesitate to kill them. I'm sure you've seen how efficient she is at it. She lost the most precious person of her life. All she is doing with you is making sure it never happens again. Deep down she knows just how efficient you are, and I can tell you have amazing combat prowess. But at the same time, with her being a child at the time, I suppose she thought her mother to be invincible. I mean, Summer was the definition of a supermom, even going as far as to treating Yang as her own. Unfortunately, this world is a cruel place, and the nicest people are not always the ones that get a neat and tidy ending." So when I asked Ruby about that, I really don't know what to say. I can't say I know how it feels. I truly don't. Needless to say, I hate my father's guts. I hate the White Fang with a passion for what they've done to my grandfather's company. I hate my last name and the attention it brings. I want to change everything about myself and my life. I always thought I had it rough. I mean, as an heiress in everyone else's eyes, I'm sure that they just see a spoiled rich girl. Which I suppose I am, but there is far more to it. I've gotten everything I could ask for and hated it. Ruby has gotten everything she has taken away from her. But can still smile like she does. I live in the shadow of my parents and get swallowed deeper inside the harder I try to get out. And I look down, taking a soft breath. Mr. Crow decides to finish my thought with perfect accuracy. "And Ruby leaves a shadow of her mother the more she tries to be just like her." There's a long silence between us, to the point that I can hear that light ringing in my ear whenever there is not another thing to be heard. "Anyway, how about you and I go out back? I'm curious to see how your semblance is. Whatever it is, I can tell you've been trained to use it in various ways. There's a strain on your body that flaunts that." He nods his head. "Actually, I slept in Ruby's sleeping bag last night. That may be the strain you see. I can't arc my back at all," I answer, trying to lean backwards but a sharp pain telling me not to. Yang has always been good with massages. She may be a brawler, but her semblance makes her ideal for dealing with muscle aches. It's part of the reason she can heal so quickly. Has she ever offered to help you out with any pains?" "No." I pause, recalling the time she dented my arm. "Actually, she did, but I refused out of stubbornness and anger." "I see. Well, this time I recommend you don't. Anyway, how about we go downstairs? I can cook up some eggs to at least hold you over until Ruby or Yang get up. Those two are the real cooks around here." He begins walking by me, motioning me to follow while shaking his head to let his hair settle naturally, though it still had a messy look to it. I follow behind him towards the stairs, and after he takes one step down, he pauses. "There's one thing I forgot to tell you, Weiss," he says without turning around. His voice is much slower and more monotone than earlier. The sound of something shattering echoes in my ear, and immediately my eyes are drawn to his wrist to see the bracelet he was wearing simply dissolve into the air. There's a powerful aura nearby, but I can't see it, feel it, or even tell where it's coming from. Is this him? He looks over his shoulder, his dark hair complementing the terrifying look in his eye that pierces my very existence. I can see my fear-filled expression in his pupil. The soft red eyes are similar to Yang, now being exposed as something far more demonic. Oh, fuck. This is just a formality, but I'm sure you won't. But if you break my niece's heart... My eyes widen as I spot his aura for the first time. Although it could hardly be seen as aura. I watch as red streaks become faintly visible around him. If I did not know better, I would simply call it lightning. As seconds go by, the red becomes outlined by a pitch black color, and my body freezes completely in place. I can't shiver, I can't breathe. I feel as though I am trapped within an airtight casing that cannot be broken. Yang has given me death glares before, even terrified me with the showcase of her power, but all of that pales to what I feel now. I want to scream and cry. I feel as though my life is in danger, or rather that it is seconds away from being taken away from me. Taken from me, I mean. I almost forget that he was speaking to me on something, at least until he opens his mouth to talk. I won't hesitate to kill you. I part my lips and try to gasp for air after his words. I can't breathe at all. My body still is not responsive to me, and I can't tear my eyes away from his gaze. I am stuck in the spider's web with nowhere to go. At least until Mr. Crow slaps my back gently enough not to hurt me, but get me out of my trance, and I take a sharp breath of air in return. Sorry about that. Like I said, just a formality. Hope you don't get too scared of me now, he says so casually while walking down the steps and going towards the kitchen. I'll get the eggs done. Come down when you can. It takes me over 10 minutes to get myself downstairs. My body has finally stopped shaking, but only after I realize something. His threat is no different from Yang's, and I didn't fear Yang's because I don't plan on hurting RWBY. So for that same reason, I have no reason to fear their uncle. I walk into the kitchen. I'm walking as Mr. Crow is just finishing using the gasoline-powered stove and served a plate of scrambled eggs onto the round glass table on the opposite side of the kitchen, away from the stove, sink, and pantry, which are all against the same wall as one unit. Oh, jeez. The pantry is made of solid wood, stained to adapt a darker color and remain water resistant. The stove has a white countertop while the rest of it is black, including the grates that are placed over each of the burners. I salted your eggs and all that fancy stuff. Like I said, just enough for you to hold over until the real chefs get up, he says, motioning me to the table I already noticed. I'm telling you, those two cook amazing food at home. But I think I'll be able to cook better than them one day. I'm sure I will, actually. I listen as he boasts about his growing cooking skills. I sit down at the table, putting the plate of scrambled eggs closer to me. I grab the nearby metal fork and scoop up some of the fluffy yellow delight. I haven't had scrambled eggs in a while, and can't wait to see how a talented huntsman who is as skilled as Mr. Crow can also find time to learn how to cook. I am far beyond impressed at this point, even though it is an extremely trivial dish. I take a bite out of the eggs, my eyes whitening at their taste. I drop my fork, unable to keep my body under control. My expectations are completely shattered with my first bite. I never thought it was possible, but now I am truly, undoubtedly, and indisputably shocked. I keep my thoughts to myself as I look over to Mr. Crow, who is blending several raw eggs for his own protein drink. A man of many talents is exactly what he is, although there's something I never accounted for. These eggs are the worst things I've ever eaten in my entire life! And that was it. Okay, I had to break out a character in that right there just so I could shout that. I mean, like, it was right there. I just had to break out a character moment. I mean, I break out a character too many times, but I mean, this one had to be like the one where I had to do it on purpose. Oh, man. I was hoping that... Oh my god. Okay. For those of you that have played Persona 4, there's a moment in the school camping trip section of the game where where Chie and Yukiko actually make food for the guys, Yosuke and your protagonist. And the funny thing was that their curry was absolutely disgusting. Probably as disgusting as this, but I know not as disgusting as this. It's probably way worse than Mr. Crow's cooking. And if you had enough courage, you can actually eat it. And the funny thing would be that you would actually just like pass out because that's how terrible it was. I mean, it got to Yosuke because he was the first to eat it. He was excited. I felt really bad for him. And that was forever called Mystery Food X. I mean, I'm hoping Mr. Crow doesn't get down to that level of Mystery Food X, but I mean, at least it didn't kill Weiss. Anyways, enough of me talking. We're gonna get to narrating chapter 47, which is Loving Miscommunications. This is in Blake's POV. Okay, as you can tell in the title, it's miscommunication, so I'm thinking a misunderstanding is about to happen, but you know, who knows? It probably might not even be relevant. Which will be, actually that won't make any sense. But okay, let's just get to it. I've been sleeping soundly throughout the entire night. A random event waking me up once, but since then I have been having a perfect night's rest, so to speak. That is, until a certain blonde brawler wakes me up once more. Yang, stop moving. I'm comfortable, I hiss underneath my breath. Yang is laying behind me in minimal clothing. The boy shorts she teased me with one day that had the words "eat me" highlighted in yellow and "no bra." If I did not scold her, it's bleh. Oh my god, this is like fucking Grammar Town here. It most certainly would have been less. We are in the attic at the moment, the place I requested to have my bed, and mainly for two reasons. Reason 1, the attic is very roomy, and I enjoy being in a spacious environment. Reason 2, it's the highest place in the house and also has a window that I can use to get on the roof. The attic is the size of the entire second floor of the house. It's made of pure wood for the interior, with several pillars perfectly spaced and aligned equal distances from each other. Unfortunately, I can't say that the entire attic is free for my use. Half of the attic has a gigantic workstation setup. Any object known to man that can be used to create or destroy is here. Sitting above the start to that half of the area is a sign that reads RWBY's Workspace. I knew Little Red was a big weapon nut, but this is by far as crazy as they come. With the amount of material and equipment she has here, I would not be surprised to see her make a second Crescent Rose, or possibly something larger than her already oversized sniper scythe. The bed I am laying in, along with Yang, is set to the side of the room, away from the only window in the attic. There are only two ways into the attic. One of them is, of course, the window. My favorite entrance that Yang refuses to let me use at my leisure, and the pull-down ladder down in the second floor hallway. Anyone who's standing in front of Yang's room can see a small string with a weight on it hanging off the ceiling. Oh, that's basically what my attic door is. But, you know. Alright. Simply pulling that string with enough force to force a portion of the wall to swing down with a ladder etched into it to climb up into the attic. Yes, definitely like mine. The hidden entryway also has a counterweight on it, so when nobody's pulling the ladder down or someone is already off of the ladder, then it will close by itself without a problem. Sorry, kitty cat, but I need to get up. I'm getting restless, Yang says while planting several kisses along my neck, stopping once a shiver erupts through my body, leaving her satisfied at my body's reaction. I don't understand. You told me that sleeping bag of rubies is a death trap only RWBY can sleep in. If you were going to sleep up here with me from the very beginning, then why not let one of those two sleep in your room? Especially if you weren't going to sleep in. It's what? Not even 5 a.m. in the damn morning? I wanted to sleep until, I don't know, noon maybe? I peek over my right shoulder, looking at Yang and her slightly messy mane. Oh, come on! Don't tell me you weren't happy when I came up here and snuggled up on you. She has her leg hooked over my waist and her arms clenching my torso. I'm held tightly against her form with nowhere to go. I was expecting to get a comfortable sleep since my superhero finally decided to do her job. I keep my voice monotone and blunt. I still look over my shoulder at Yang, who doesn't appear to be even slightly disheartened at my words. Is that the honest truth? She asks, inching herself up in the bed to be able to press the back of my head against the very top of her bust. Something about her tone when she asked that was off. I feel like whichever way I answer this question will put me into a trap, but I can outsmart Yang in every situation. I will boast that to the heavens. There is not a situation Yang can put me in that I cannot outsmart or outmind game her in. Yes, Yang, that's the truth. Now, if you're going to burn off your excess energy, you may as well go now, so I can get back to sleep before the sun begins to peek into the attic. I rest my head on the pillow, purring as my left ear is tickled by the soft, fluffy material. Wait, I can feel the pillow in my ear? It then dawns on me that after speaking with Crow, I felt the need, or rather, to show a form of courtesy and leave my bow off all around the house. This is Yang's family after all, so I wish to prove there is nothing I plan on hiding. To a certain extent, at least. Wait, I don't have my bow on, and Yang is... I try to lean forward to bring my head away from Yang, but my realization of the situation is far too late. Her lips and teeth already have a firm hold on the tip of my ear, sending shivers throughout my body from her attack. Not again. Think, Blake. I'll be fine as long as she doesn't... My eyes shut tight and I begin to push myself against Yang out of reflex. My body searching for something to brace myself against, and Yang being the closest thing to me turned her into the object that I can use. I push myself firmly against her, trying to use my lower body to push her away while I struggle to get my head, and more importantly, my ears away from her. Her left hand is caressing my other ear, not letting it cup on her salt even in the slightest. Her right arm moves from my torso to above my breast to pull me back towards her without as so much as an ounce of effort from her. Don't act like you're not enjoying this, kitty cat. Her voice reeks of confidence and comfort. I am in an element that Yang thrives in, and I made the mistake of forgetting that I am also in her own house. She is in her own comfort zone, and there isn't much else I can do about it. If you just admitted that you were happy with me sleeping next to you, this could have been avoided. Her left hand continues to torture my ear, alternating between tickling the furry tip of my fondest accessory and caressing the edges of my entire ear until it begins to flutter and fight her gentle touch. The first time she ever took the chance to abuse the sensitivity of my ears was when we had our first kiss, along with the exchange of milk. Yang believes that having my ear touched is just extremely pleasurable, but it also paralyzes me to an extent. It's something I assume all faunists deal with, but as a cat faunus, perhaps it has an enhanced feeling for me? I'm glad Yang has slowed her assault, though. It lets me catch my breath and open my eyes to see what is going on around me. When I look down, I notice her arm is no longer holding my upper body towards her. In fact, I feel uneasy not knowing where her arm is. Fuck. I don't want to do this. There's a sharp relief and pressure all over my body, and a cold breeze greets my body that is decorated with many faint beads of sweat, making the breeze feel that much colder. I look down at my yukata, seeing the sash I used to keep it closed has been removed, and my torso is completely exposed now, along with my stomach and waist. If not for my midnight colored bra and panties, there would be far more exposed right now. Oh shit. This again. Yang, I don't appreciate... Her right hand swings up swiftly, pressing right to my lips. I look over my shoulder at her again, but instead of finding her lilac eyes, all I see are her eyelids shielding them. Why isn't she even looking at me? Her hand moves from my lips and slides back down towards my yukata. Her fingers grabbing the open outfit and moving wherever she can out of the way, exposing my right side completely. I jump when her hand rests on the concave curve in my hip, and her warm breath brushes over my right ear as she whispers to me once again. Ah, oh, fuck damn it. You know, it's kind of awkward to do this whenever you're a dude. I'm just glad I'm alone in the house. You love it, Blake. Otherwise, you would have clawed my face off already. Now, are you going to admit you were happy with me sleeping with you? Or can I keep having my fun? All this because I told her I wasn't happy with her laying with me? What kind of stubborn girl is she? She is still holding on to my ear, giving it a soft rubbing with her thumb every few seconds. I've adapted slightly to it, but it is still far too enjoyable for comfort. I look at her once again, hoping to flash her my perfected death glare, but still her eyes are closed. I part my lips to speak, and in the same instant, even before my lips part, she leans forward and catches me in a quick kiss. Despite how swift it was, she finds time to bring her tongue to mine in a temporary embrace before she retreats, leaving me in a mix of pleasure, confusion, and happiness. You were giving me that death glare, weren't you? She asks, a smile crossing her lips, but her eyes still closed. I get startled when there is a gentle touch on my stomach, the kind of touch that makes someone suck in their stomach before checking what is going on. When I look down, I spot Yang's hand trailing down towards my waistline. She's bluffing, I tell myself, but that thought is thrown out the window when those trailing fingers pull the elastic of my panties away from my flesh to make room for them to slide until her wrist is pressing against my waistline, and her fingers are all underneath the fabric. Yang, we're in your attic! Yang? I whisper, amazed that I'm actually stuttering. Why am I stuttering? Am I nervous? What would I be nervous? It's not like she's really going through with this. Stop it, I whisper, after gathering my thoughts, but I am completely ignored. Her palm presses to my right thigh and her fingers begin to dance along my cold flesh. She's completely passed by my sex, which I assumed it was to be a goal, but it seems Yang is playing a mind game of her own with me. I stayed up all night looking at those pretty years, Blake. Do you have any idea how hard it is to not please myself with the sexiest girl in the world cuddled up with me? Yang's voice is oh my god damn it, dude. I don't know how I'm still doing this. Yang's voice is in its normal optimistic tone, but there's a slight frustration to it. Finally, it dawns on me that if Yang was awake all night and she said earlier that she needs to get up because she is getting restless, then that means she's been like that all night. So, were you accomplishing with this? I ask, trying to keep myself quiet as Yang goes back to caressing my left ear at a bit of a faster pace. Nothing at all. I just want you to say you were happy I slept with you. Again, she says it in such a way that I feel as though my next answer will put me in a trap. I suppose with this situation there is no helping it. Yang beat me in my own game for once. Fine, Yang. I'm happy you slept with me. Is that better? Nope. Changed my mind. I want you to say you love me in a passionate and erotic way instead. Yep. Sounds perfect. Aw, what's going on, little kitty cat? I'm a cat bird. Chicken. Alright. That sounds perfect. She begins to giggle. But I can't find any amusement in the situation. In fact, I am rather annoyed to say the least. Yang Xiaolong, if you know what's good for you, then you will... let's just pretend I don't see that. A weakness goes through my body. A feeling I have not experienced in a while. Except during some of my quiet nights with my romance novels. Okay. My right hand begins to shoot down and grab Yang's arm, but another movement of hers makes my arm go weak. I can hear satisfied giggles from Yang while my breathing turns into audible pants. My movements cease to fight her. Not going too deep, am I, Blakey? Yang taunts as one of her fingers twists inside me. This is the first time Yang has ever gone this far with me, but I can't complain about it at all. She's been patient with me enough that I suppose I won't mind if she wants to push things a little further. I mean, RWBY and Weiss were only dating for a week when they first went at it. Although Weiss was a bit tipsy, and RWBY has been wanting to do things to Weiss since who knows how long. I murmur, hiding my face from her gaze. Too deep? Yang whispers, with a bit of concern in her voice. She chooses the wrong time to misunderstand me, I swear. Oh god. So sorry, I keep on hitting my pop filter, which causes the mic to move. 2 fingers, I clarify. Looking over my shoulders to see her eyes are closed still, and this time I make a note of it. And why are your eyes closed? A smile crosses her lips, and for the first time since last night she opens her eyes slowly, exposing her beautiful light-like eyes to me. There is a slight difference to them, and as they open completely, I realize that Yang was not joking when she said she did not get an ounce of sleep. Surrounding the lilac color is a bloodshot texture that shows the fatigue in her body. I reach behind me with my right hand to caress her cheek, and upon contact she shakes her head and begins to slide her second finger into me. Oh god. Her fingers are much longer than my own, and in turn I part my lips, letting out brief squeaks that begin to grow louder. Yang, realizing that I may not be able to remain silent for much longer, decides to bring her left hand from my ear to over my lips to help muffle my moans and become more audible with each thrust of her fingers. With her fingers moving as slow and rhythmic as they are, I can't do anything but scoot away from her very slightly and try to shift onto my back. It takes Yang a moment to realize what I am doing, but she moves away to give me enough room to lay flat on the bed and look at her bloodshot eyes. Are my eyes bloodshot? Just nod or shake, she asks, smiling at me when I nod. Somehow she is able to speak to me so casually while she continues such lewd actions along with me moaning every other second. My juices are flowing actively along the 2 digits. I have not told Yang this, and perhaps I should have when we first started to go out, or perhaps the first time we kissed. But I have no sexual experience at all aside from self-experimentation. Yang is by all means being the first person to stick anything into me, and normally I would be against it. But I feel this is right. I want Yang to continue, and for that reason I have not uttered Yang's name. Perhaps I am hurting her with each passing second, but all I see is an unhappy ending should I whisper the name of the woman tending to me with such intimate and delicate gestures. Yang has only kept her fingers going up to her first or second knuckles, and perhaps she is aware that I am a virgin, or she is just not pressing her luck. I continue moaning into the palm of her hand. Oh, man, I just realized, fuck, man. Okay, you got this. A smile crossing her lips with each sound that exits my covered lips, sorry. I expect her to amp things up to the next level, and I am not disappointed with my expectation at all. In fact, she adapts a simple trick and curl of her fingers, finding the most sensitive spot inside me with pinpoint accuracy. In response, my back arches, setting my lower back and part of my ass off of the mattress. It is then that I am reminded that Yang is still naturally aggressive. Her palm presses down on my pelvis while her fingers remain inside me, and she forces me to lay flat on the mattress with an audible thud. Blake, there's something I need to tell you. I feel Yang press herself to my side, bringing her lips closer to my ear once more, but not teasing it as she has been for who knows how long. She moves her hand away from my lips, and instead turns my head to press my lips into her breast and shoulder as an alternative way to muffle myself, although I think she just wants my lips against her. Blake, it took me countless times to ask you out. As a matter of fact, I thought of giving up several times. I saw your beautiful eyes in my dreams every night after you turned me down, just as I can see your eyes now despite it being pitch black. That's right, she can't see. You thought I only wanted you for your body, and maybe what I'm doing right now is not helping erase those thoughts. But after laying next to you tonight, unable to sleep, I realized something. I can feel Yang's heartbeat against my lips. From the calm, relaxed pace, it becomes a rapid pounding that brings a mild worry to my lips. I've been struggling to listen to her words, between the lewd noises of her pistony fingers making my virgin hole drip and coat my temporary bedding, as well as her fingers and my thighs. The simplistic sounds leaving my lips and the lack of the mental power to understand each of her words is taking me much more effort, as well as time, to register what she is saying. I am becoming anxious, waiting for her to finish her sentence in fear that she may be ready to reject me now that she possibly has my cherry literally at the tip of her fingers. Blake, I'm far too attached to ever let you go. Putting it bluntly, I'm a lost puppy and want nothing more than to show my affections to you. Although I'm not much of the romantic type, aside from in the bedroom. My greatest way of showing my love is by what I'm doing now, but there's something I won't do until you are completely certain you want to be with me, because I made the same mistake when I was younger. I feel my heart shatter when she leans down and presses her lips to my temple. I pull my lips from her breast to whisper to her, but she curls her fingers tighter than they already were, graining them over my G-spot and bringing my lips back against her flesh to silence myself. I'm not done, Blake. This is my turn to talk, and your time to just listen, okay? She asked, with honey in her last word. Her fingers relax their pressure and go back to their slow movements to keep me stimulated and dripping, inching me closer to a peak that is still a ways down with the pace she is using. I nod my head before she curls her fingers again, and I do my best to listen. Ying has never silenced me like this before, and even though I dislike not getting my voice heard, I remain quiet and pull myself closer to her warm body. If I need to wait years before I can further this, I will. If it takes a decade for you to know I'm not leaving your side, so be it. I'm talented in the bedroom, which is what most guys care about. I'm a sports lover, which most guys love. I'm one of the best looking girls there is. And yes, that is super arrogant of me, but I am certain it is true. But I don't want a guy. I want my kitty cat. Her fingers curled my G-spot once again, forcing me to reach around to her back and scratch at it out of reflex from the need to hold on to something. I want you to scold me for being a perverted blonde. Her fingers brushed through my hair, playing with my silky black strands. I want to look into your eyes and get lost in them like I always do, even in my sleep. Her fingers slow down, but still make long strokes over the sensitive flesh inside me. What I'm saying, Blake, is you're the only person for me, and I won't let her convince you otherwise. Her? Yang, just what are you hiding from me? I slowly pull my lips from her breast in hopes of getting my words across this time, but I experience the same result, followed by a relentless assault from her fingers. I didn't think she could push into a new gear like this with such a small movement, but as Yang said herself, she is a talent in the bedroom. Within seconds, my body is spasming, and her hand on the back of my head pulls me tighter to make sure I do not yell loud enough for it to leave the attic. Wearing her walls tying around her fingers, trapping them inside me while my screams become near impossible to hold in. Out of fear of being hurt, I part my lips and do my best to bite gently into the top of Yang's left breast. I forget where I am for the time, losing track of the passing seconds, along with losing the presence of Yang's body next to me, and not realizing it until her magical fingers make their final move. I feel her fingers leave my body, along with her hand to the back of my head. My pants for air are filled with her name in each breath. I don't feel her near me anymore, after I spaced out for my orgasm. My whispers of her name are more subconscious than anything. I need her near me. I'm here, Blake. Her voice is to the other side of me. I turn my head to see her kneeling at the side of the bed with a look of concern on her face. Yang, why now? Because it's the only way I really know how to get my strongest feelings across. I don't know how a date should go. I don't know what to buy you to make you smile. I want to learn it all, but I just don't know how. I shake my head, placing my finger to her lips, which makes her stop immediately. The real reason. Tell me, I whisper to her, sliding my weak form to the edge of the bed, closer to my kneeling blonde. That is the real reason, Blake. That, and so not worth mentioning, has me worried for what she may do when she finds out who my current girlfriend is. I just want you to think I just don't want you to think I have any interest in her at all. Look at Yang's eye is truly that of a lost puppy, but there's some things about everything that just happened I do not understand. Is she the one that took your cherry? I ask, earning a nod from Yang. She made it sound like she wants you back. I ask back? I ask again, and again I get a nod. So why not just tell me, Yang? What is it that you're hiding from me? My voice goes slightly towards anger without me realizing it, and the visible wince from Yang makes me realize that. She's a faunus. A cheetah faunus. And I was worried that you think I went with you since you're a faunus too and remind me of her. Makes some sense, but still. Why would I worry about that if you dumped her like everybody else who has slept with you? I move to my side, reaching out to touch Yang's cheek, letting her know I'm not angry. Because I wasn't the one to end the relationship. Yang turns her head away and sighs. I understand where she is coming from now, but she is still a dumb blonde for thinking doing anything like this would prove much. Not that I am complaining. So, you pretty much sex me up as a bribe for me to stay with you? I know that's not the case, but putting the situation in a bad light is probably the easiest way for her to confess everything in hopes of clearing the situation up. No, I don't know why I did it, Blake. It just felt right. I can't go a moment without thinking of you, and you not saying you were happy with me spending the night with you, and I just thought of an instant way to make me take that back? I raise an eyebrow. I'm an idiot. Yes, a big idiot. Blake, because I didn't admit it, that I did not enjoy your company. You should know me better than that, you idiot. As for this mystery woman, we are going into town we're going to town today, but not together. I will follow you, and I will see who she is for myself. Yang raises her head to argue, but I'm furious at her for thinking so little of me, and I take out that anger with a loud hiss that makes her jump back in shock. That's final. As for what happened, next time, make sure you go through with it all. It's embarrassing that the first person to even touch me down there didn't go all the way. Wait, so Yes, Yang, you're my first. Well, not completely since I'm still a virgin. Now, do me a favor and burn whatever energy you have and get to sleep. When you wake up, we go to town. No excuses. I'm curious to meet the faunus who conquered the conqueror of hearts herself. I'm sorry. 4. Not telling you about what happened yesterday. Her words make me sigh, and I suppose I should be honest with my thoughts. To be honest, I can't be mad at you. If this came up at a different time, perhaps I would have been a little less understanding. But you've gone far enough to introduce me to your family, and you're still too patient with me for your own good. Seriously, you expect me to keep you waiting a decade? Go get a workout and let me sleep. Dumbass. I shake my head, rolling over to go back to sleep. I love you too, Blakey. Yang whispers, a slight happiness to her words. Takes you till now to realize this is how I show my affections? And don't you forget it. I smile as I hear her stand up and make her way down the ladder. It's been an odd morning, even though it is still pitch black outside, but at least now I get the chance to kill the bitch who has my blonde prowler worried. Whoever she is, she now has my attention. I've kept my hands clean since I left the White Fang. If she doesn't leave Yang alone, then that is a streak that will be broken. You're an idiot, Yang, but you're my idiot unfortunately, I whisper to myself. I care for Yang with all my heart. If I need to prove it by making an example of someone, then I will. Woohoo! Oh man, got through it, man! I got through it. I mean, I did have to stop for a bit. I was like, oh fuck. But I mean, hey, I did it, and you know what? I was kind of happy with the result of it. I'm gonna go open up this candy coat. Oh my god. Okay, it didn't explode. Sick. Alright. So, anyways, here's chapter 48. A killer workout into checkmate. This is in Yang's POV. Alright. This is in Yang's POV. Go get a workout and let me sleep, dumbass. I love you too, Blakey. God, I love her so much right now. And don't you forget it. Yep, she was my adorable grumpy kitty cat. I guess I shouldn't have been worried about Sean Sean at all. I'm not even worried for the cheetah girl. There was a look in Blake's eye that illuminated them just enough for me to see a killer glare. I'm not sure what she plans, but I hope for Remnant's sake that Sean doesn't show up in town today. Alright. I move away from Blake's bedside and make my way over to the ladder that is bolted to the ground. I push my foot onto it, letting my weight accumulate on the ladder until it is enough to force a section of the floor to give in on one side and drop down, making the ladder more accessible to climb down from. Although I opt to hop down and silence my landing with a roll instead, which also leaves me right in front of my room. Alright. Uncle should be up, so let me just get into something a bit drier and knock on the door. I make my way back into my room and close the door behind me. I stripped off my dampened panties, tossing them into the open hamper in the corner of my room. I will probably bring my laundry into town today since I am being forced to go there anyway. I have 3 pairs of those panties that read "treat me right" in white text, but what makes me love them is the way of a portion of the phrase is highlighted in yellow and reads "eat me instead." The first time Blake saw them, I thought her look of shock was just so adorable. In fact, I never quite forgot just how amazed she was that I owned some clothing like that. She shouldn't have been that surprised about it in all honesty. I mean, she is dating a girl that she knows to be a pretty big on teasing, but I suppose she didn't expect it to carry over that far into the clothing as well. I go to my dresser, rummaging through the top drawer for another pair of boy shorts to wear. I don't know how girls can wear all those low-cut panties. Honestly, other styles feel like they just try too hard to be teasing and sexy. I'll settle for my flirtatious boy shorts any day of the week, especially with some of the lewd wordings most of them have. I should buy a few more pairs when we go into town. That'll be my way of airing out after I set the laundry to wash. That's perfect! I smile to myself, finding a yellow pair that I instantly put on, along with throwing on one of my sports bras that I have an uncounted amount of. I said black. I was about to say black sports bras. I'm like, wait a minute, I don't even know what color it is because there's no description of the color. Although this one was one of my favorites since it was completely black like the others. Oh. Okay. It was black anyways. What the fuck? But had the words "I burn" in yellow resting over the front. I had this one specially made in a town a while back, along with a few others. I then throw on my black shorts with yellow trimmings along each leg hole and yellow strings to match. Wait, what if Uncle Crow isn't awake? I pause a moment, and then begin to die of laughter at my own stupidity. Uncle Crow was always the first person to awake. Even if you went to bed several hours before him, it's like he knows when you're going to wake up and adjusts accordingly. I need to know how he does it. I hum to myself as I walk out of my room and down the hall in the direction of Ruby's room. A few steps down, I stop and knock on the door to my right a few times with the second knuckle on my middle finger, and a relaxed, cheery voice greets me from behind the doorway. "Come in," Uncle Crow shouts. Come in, Uncle Crow shouts, although it sounds like he is already in the middle of a workout. Well, shit. To the left along the wall is a single dresser that is for clothing, and next to the dresser, but going along the adjacent wall is the bed. Aside from that, there is only a wooden nightstand in the corner furthest from me at the moment, along with a lamp sitting on top. Okay, I'm eating this before I even continue. It's a pretty average looking room with the walls being painted a dirty white sort of color. Straight ahead of me is an open window, but more importantly, between me and the window is Uncle Crow on the ground. "Hey, nudie be up, I smile, walking towards him. He currently has his left hand behind his back and his right hand on the floor. Oh man, I know someone that would definitely be good at being Yang. I walk around him and sit down on the floor while he continues his one-handed push-ups. As I walk by, I make note of Uncle Crow's back. With the slightest of movements, I can see the muscles of his upper back tense as he lowers and lifts himself, most likely being used to help balance himself on one hand. Uncle Crow is nothing like the oversized muscle heads that think just because their arms are gigantic that it represents strength. Uncle Crow has been able to get himself to the point that his body gains pure muscle without much mass gain. To be honest, his arms are barely thicker than mine, but he has a ton more muscle definition, as opposed to me where I have minimal. But as we all know, my punches portray the true strength hidden in my body. As I always am. Couldn't sleep? You ask, looking forward at me, or rather through me. He has this respectable habit of spacing out during his workout, but still paying perfect attention to the voices. He holds a perfect posture with everything and will often gaze blankly in whatever direction the proper posture calls for, and it leaves a lot of people feeling uneasy. Nope, gotta rest doesn't need to burn some energy. How many push-ups have you done so far, I ask, and take a few steps back before dropping onto my knees and mimicking his push-up posture, except with my left hand on the floor and my right hand behind my back. Lost count half an hour ago. Plus, you're doing it wrong. Look at my palm carefully. I tilt my head, looking down at his hand and then back at his absent gaze. Kinda hard to do that when your palm's on the floor, Uncle. I roll my eyes at his logic. Fortunately for you, my palm is not on the floor. Take a look, he says with a chuckle that radiates confidence and playfulness. I play along with his game and lower myself to the floor. My breath's giving me a bit of trouble as I try to lay flat, but eventually I push myself far enough and realize that my uncle wasn't bullshitting me. In fact, his palm is about an inch off the ground while he is doing his push-ups. It's like some sort of magic show. Wait, so now you're some kind of magician? When are you going to stop picking up extra jobs? I roll my eyes while I move up to my knees. I'm using my aura to push me off the ground, Yang. It's great endurance training. I decided that I had the push-ups to sort of kill two birds with one stone. I get my endurance training from my aura, and my muscle endurance training from my body. Yep, Uncle Crow being an overachiever yet again. Cool, how about I give it a try? I smile, getting myself in a proper position and begin taking a deep breath to focus. Oh no you don't. With how uncontrollable your aura is, you'll burn the damn house down. Get on my back. Huh? Get on my back, he says again, bringing his left hand down to the floor to adapt to a more proper push-up position. But instead he lowers his knees to the ground and takes up the kneeling position I had earlier. All he uses is extra body strength training and aura control training. I'll do the same push-ups as I was doing, but also use my aura so you don't burn a hole through me. Let's face it, I'm the most durable thing in this entire house. Well, next to Crescent Rose. Ruby built that damn thing like a tank. Speaking of which, I need to check and see just how much she added to it. I swear she put more stuff on it that I will need to counterweight for her, then I'm going to strip it down to about half the size. I can't help but giggle as Uncle Crow begins ranting about Crescent Rose. Ruby started adding little mods to Crescent Rose, and pretty soon she became unable to stop. Of course, she had a laser sight, but then dropped it off after she found a way to give Crescent Rose an expanded rifle form. That weapon has gone from a normal scythe to oversized gun to sniper shotgun, then to a compact shotgun, and finally it was adapted to its hybrid form, having the scythe form as its main, then the expanded rifle form, and the more compact form that she uses to carry it around. If Uncle Crow didn't tell Ruby that enough was enough, then she probably would have rebuilt it yet again. Huh. You know, now that I think about it, Crescent Rose started out as a model of a Barrett 50 caliber. Pretty awesome how that happened. She only added one attachment to it, Uncle Crow, and it was our resident Ice Queen that gave it to Ruby as a gift. I smile, moving from my push-up position onto my knees as well, and putting my palms onto my lap. Oh, the Schnee girl? What was her name? Ice? Rice? Weiss. Why are you so bad with names? How many people have you offended because you didn't remember the name after one day? I shake my head. My uncle is a brilliant fighter, trainer, and is the greatest thing at anything combat or fitness related. But I guess with all that prowess, he has to lack in pretty much everything else. Greatest fighter? Pfft. Can't forget about Summer. We don't even know how she fights. Oh, man. Hey, I'm not that bad with names. I just need to repeat it a few hundred times. Besides, I can recall 2 names right now that you will be surprised of. He nods his head in pride. Oh, do tell, I chuckle, eager to hear. Blake Belladonna, your girlfriend. And I remember that because now I need to go ask out Glinda sometime. That will not be pretty. He lets out a heavy sigh, knowing the impossible task ahead. And the other name? I raise an eyebrow at him. The girl that taught you how to box probably and brought you down, and brought you to the gym in town to compete and learn everything there is. Shun Hitomi. I really don't need to hear that name right now. I slam. Okay, I need a jab for extra drama. Yep, that's her. I trail off, taking a deep breath. I never told anybody what really happened between Shun and I. Everyone assumed we were just friends, but behind closed doors we were madly in love. Or at least I was. So, what did Rice get her? Weiss got Ruby a new scope for Crescent Rose, and it has some really cool lettering on the side now. Oh, what's it say? He asked with intrigue in his voice. It says, the last thing you never see. Sounds pretty badass, doesn't it? Does have a pretty nice ring to it. Come on, we can keep talking while we work out. Oh, get 2 bracelets out of my backpack. It's next to the nightstand. Send one to 50%, the other to 5%. So how do those 2 end up together? Hate to say it, but I never pictured the Schneears dating Ruby. I mean, I never thought Ruby would end up going out with a Schneears. Ruby, Uncle Crow, Uncle Crow says after carefully picking out his words. I am already on my feet, rummaging through his bag to find the 2 bracelets he wants. And wait, what? Hold on a second. It's bag. Okay, backpack. Okay, so it's bag, not fucking back. Fucking damn it. To find the 2 bracelets he wants. Anytime we train, he always makes me wear one to help me learn to better manage my aura. Those lessons always go out the window. I try my best, don't get me wrong, but aura control was never my thing. You and me both. Those two used to butt heads like there was no tomorrow, and then a few events happened, involving me misunderstanding a situation, trying to kill Ice Queen in one punch. Ruby intercepting said punch and taking the hit for Weiss. And well, then Weiss confessed to Ruby after she got out of the infirmary. I finally found the 2 bracelets I've been looking for and began walking back to Uncle Crow. Wait, you punched your sister? Yang, how the hell do you even manage that? I was pissed, and to avoid me punching Weiss, she changed where my anger was directed by pulling my hair. She knew what she was doing. I sigh, recalling my conversation with Blake about the whole situation. I see. Ruby seems to be willing to put her body on the line to keep that girl safe then, huh? You kidding? Ruby's glued to Weiss every second of the day. The only time those 2 aren't together is when one of them has to use the bathroom. Hell, they'd even take showers together if there weren't the risk of me breaking Weiss's face in. I reach Uncle Crow, setting one down to 50 and the other to 5. I hand the one with the lower of the 2 numbers to him, and place the other on my right wrist. An odd feeling shoots through me immediately. I begin to feel cold and even start to shiver. One of the reasons I hated these things was because of the fact that it made me get a small case of the chills. Since my aura was pretty heated, and these bracelets nullified whatever amount of it. Interesting, he says, placing the bracelet on and lying flat on the floor while I carefully position myself over him. I place my palms slightly below his shoulders and do my best to plant the balls of my feet on his Achilles. On his Achilles, I guess. I lay myself flat on top of him, waiting for him to start so I can mimic his pace. Yang, I think it may be best to let those two do as they wish, Uncle Crow says while he starts to push himself up. Immediately, I focus my aura, feeling myself push off his back before I begin doing my own push-ups. It's a lot harder than I thought, I'll admit that, especially since I am doing this on a moving surface. But Uncle Crow was right. I'll burn a hole in the floor and burn down the house if I try to do this there. Why should I leave those two alone? I don't want to think what Weiss will do to Ruby if I didn't watch those two like a hawk, I growl under my breath. My anger forced me to exert a bit more but I quickly correct it. Would Weiss do something against Ruby's wishes? Is their relationship that one-sided? Uncle Crow asked me while keeping perfect rhythm with his push-ups, almost like a machine. Of course not. Weiss will do anything Ruby wants, although I hate it when Weiss scolds my little sis all the time. For eating too many cookies, not finishing her homework. I pause, letting out a loud sigh. Okay, so Weiss scolds Ruby for good reasoning. I still need to keep an eye on them. I don't want them to do the same thing you were doing in the attic with Belladonna. Before you ask, I can hear the bed moving up there. Dumb move. And he acted that casually when I came in? I swear, he is too relaxed. Dad would have told me to go into town and rent a motel if I'm going to be doing that. That's exactly it, I have. And something dawns on me. Wait, how long have we been doing this? Yang, unfortunately, Ruby will not be my precious little niece forever. And she won't be your helpless baby sis forever. In fact, I will make a deal with you. Uncle Crow has a chuckle under his breath that begins making me uneasy. And that is, I ask, starting to wonder how long we have been doing this again. I can feel the fatigue in my arms. I have no idea how much aura I have left. The problem with these braces is that when you're reaching your limit with them, you don't know it. You're simply just stopping using your aura and collapse from exhaustion. If you tell me now that you will leave him alone, then I will give Rice a little scare. Weiss! Her name is Weiss. And what kind of scare? An Uncle Crow scare. I'll just show her a fraction of my aura and tell her a threat that will. Wouldn't be a threat, but a promise. Uncle, what are you gonna... And 150. Do 50 more and I'll tell you. Challenge accepted. I begin to focus more on my breathing and counting out each push-up in my head. Physically, I can keep up with this, even if I slow down, but I am more worried about explosive push. My eyes widen at the quick command. As soon as he says, I flare my aura, sending my hands a foot or so above his back while he does the same in complete sync with me. I press my hands together in a loud clap, then place my hands on his back before going back to exerting the same amount of aura while he falls back to the floor and I remain above him. Not gonna make this easy, are you? Explosive hand switch. 10. Fuck! I shift to my right hand, placing my left behind my back. I lower down and do a full push-up, then release my aura on a sharp pulse to send me up high enough to switch and land on my left before doing the same. All while also using a steady amount to keep my palm from touching Uncle Crow's back. I'm not good with controlling my aura in tiny bursts. I can feel a soreness go through my arms after each landing, as well as a cold chill run through my body. Oh, bah! I'm yawning. Alright, Yang. 20 more. Normal. I sigh, moving back into my normal posture to continue normally. The first 5 are effortless, but after that I begin to lose control of my aura a bit. The result being that the flat surface I somewhat managed to manipulate with my pulses becomes shaky. My arms reflect this with visible quakes that also make it harder to do my push-ups. Physically, I can keep on par with Uncle Crow for days, but once he incorporates his aura into a workout, I am left useless. And now it's no different. I clench my teeth, fighting for a few more reps. I just need 10 more to find out what he plans on doing, but I hear him murmur something that completely shatters my hopes. Sorry, Yang. You're at your limit. And not even a second later my aura gives out. My palms press onto his back to secure my landing, but it gives out immediately and leaves me collapse over him. Show off, I whisper while he continues. Nope. This is showing up, he answers, and continues his push-ups for what feels like another 5 full minutes while I fall asleep on his back. He'll bring me to my room. I'm too tired for this. 1 hour later... Dun, 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 dun. Okay, whatever. Bum ba dum ba dum bum bum. I take a deep breath as I wake up on my back, facing the ceiling. The sun is shining through my window a bit, so I've been out cold for more than half an hour. That's for sure. I sit up in my bed and turn to get my legs on the floor to leave my room and see what's going on. At the same time, Ruby's coming out of her room with a massive case of bedhead. Hey, Yang, Ruby says with a soft groan in her voice. Hey, sis. Why still asleep? I ask while walking towards her, meeting halfway with each other in front of the open door to the room Uncle Crow has been sleeping in. No, I guess she woke up a while ago. I wonder what she ate for breakfast. Suddenly it dawns on me, my eyes widen along with Ruby's. Ruby, did you tell Weiss about... No, I forgot! Oh god, I hope she didn't eat his food! Ruby panics and runs downstairs with me in tow. I run into the kitchen to see Ruby standing there in complete shock. When I turn my head to see what she is looking at, we spot a bowl that has a few more remains of egg yolk in it, but next to it are varied assortments of bottles for any kind of vitamin that is fitness related, along with protein pills. Uncle Crow always felt the need to add vitamins whenever he cooked. I have no idea how he can eat that stuff himself. I hope Weiss isn't dead. Check the living room, Rubes. Check the living room, Rubes, I suggest, turning around to walk down the hallway and a gust of air speeding by me not even a fraction of a second later. I peek around the corner of the living room and see Weiss laying on the sofa watching TV and Ruby diving over the arm of the furniture to land on her girlfriend. You're alive! Ruby cries out as she lands on Weiss with an audible thud. Get off me, you dolt! Yeah, I noticed your uncle can't cook to save his life. Then I noticed the pills on the counter and I told him I'm a vegan. Weiss sighs, wrapping her arms around Ruby despite just telling my sis to get off. Wait, I thought you were a vegan, Ruby says with a tilt of her head. I'm far from a vegan, Ruby. I'm a pesco-vegetarian, Weiss clarifies. What the fuck? Huh? A vegan doesn't eat anything that comes from an animal. Milk, eggs, etc., etc. A vegetarian does eat eggs and drink milk, but does not eat any meat from an animal, including fish. A pesco-vegetarian, which is what I am, follows all the eating habits of a vegetarian, except I do eat fish. Do you remember when we ate tuna sandwiches? I do eat salami on the very rare occasion. Only when there is nothing else to eat and I decide to have a sandwich that is not tuna. I hate tuna breath with a passion. Thanks for the lesson, nice queen, I say, making Weiss jump in an attempt to move Ruby off of her, but I raise my hand for her to stop. You're fine, you're fine. I'm going out later in town today. Do you two need anything? More strawberries! Ruby shouts and buries her face into Weiss's neck. If you would be kind enough to get... Actually, I better come with. It's a big list. I want to get a few materials of condiments to make a proper salad. I want to go anywhere near that kitchen after my near-death experience. Weiss shivers. That's a very Weiss decision, I comment, and both of them groan loud enough to wake up Blake. Well, a few hours from now, and I will be in town with Blake and Weiss. I feel like I've been put into checkmate. I've just been put into checkmate. Oh God! All right. That was okay. That's 3 chapters in total. It's okay, man. It's weird to be back. I have a starburst in hand. Oh fuck! I dropped my starburst. Yeah, I'm back. I'm hoping to be more active than usual. I mean, I've been out for a while, and I really want to get back into just, doing all these narrations. I really want to see how this story ends. Like, we are literally like almost. We're almost like I say, almost more than. Well, we're like less than 30 chapters away from ending. Yeah. I think we're almost 25 chapters away. Hold on, let me check. Yeah, we're about 25 chapters away from finishing, guys. And man, it's a starburst. All right. But anyways, I'm hoping to actually change up my videos for right now because we're almost finished with this. And, well, since I've been out for a while, I've been wanting to do like 5 chaptered videos, just to catch up on what I could have finished. I could have been finished with this a long time ago if it weren't for my absence. So, I mean, expect me to actually put up some 5 chaptered videos. Well, narrations, I mean, not videos. I need to stop calling them videos, but I'm used to the whole YouTube thing, so it's narrations. Well, it's videos on YouTube, but I call them narrations. But, I believe it's after the next narration that I'll start doing my 5-chapter spree. Or, actually, yeah, that actually is a good idea. Okay, it was chapter 40. Okay, chapter 48. So 49, 50, 51. All right. Yeah, after chapters 49 to 51, we'll be beginning our 5-chapter spree. So, yeah. All right. Stay classy as always. Yep.